This video was sponsored by Enhance, NeoWatt, ABRP, Elbilmek, Kempower and EB Hub. Yo, what's up? Today we're gonna test the brand spanking new Mercedes GLB. This is like the EQB upgrade. It's 800 volt, it's based on the CLA architecture with the battery and the drivetrain. Same stuff there. 353 kilowatt max charging speed and 90 kilowatt hour battery and 354 horsepower overdrive. This is the 350 4Matic. But there are some nice upgrades. This car is bigger than before. I need to do a banana box test. Wait, why is the hood so long? Compared to Tesla and many of the MVB cars, the hood is not that long. Well, at least I can show you it now has a new party trick. It has a frunk. You go here, you see how it's the lock thing here again. Oh, you just open it. Look at this, humongous frunk. Holy macaroni. This is the unused space they had in the old Mercedes, I guess. Wonder if we can even fit 2 banana boxes here. Okay, anyway, we will test that in another video. Yeah, but we show you that just like the other, the EQB, you know, this is plenty of space. Yeah, glass roof, but it's a 7-seater. What the heck, it's a 7-seater? Huh? Yes, so I present to you the third row for people without legs. No, seriously, how the heck are you gonna fit people in the back here? Huh? Wait, so maybe if they would go more forward, you can actually slide it. It has some rails here. You can slide it, but even now when I'm sitting, I see I have some leg room. Okay, we're gonna test this properly in the interior view. But yeah, just showing you that when you have all the stuff up, then it's quite bad, but you can always do, wait, let me see. Well, you can't do this with one hand, okay. But I'll show you here. Okay, okay. We have the partial shaft here. So let me show you. Oh, I'm a noob. You do this. Okay, Achtung, pull this. There. That's how you fold the seats. Yeah, and now you see you have plenty of space. You can also recline the seats slightly. You can see here how much they can recline. Okay, alles gut. But can someone please tell me why there is a 0.5-second lag when you press the button until it closes? Because when you want to open it, it's instant. See? Push it, instant. But for closing, maybe it's like, oh, there is a delay there, because when you press the button, you have to be able to get away from the door so it doesn't close on you. Well, I don't know, but it goes so slow that it's not really a problem, is it? Okay, stop nitpicking. All right, let's go. Let me show you now the nice interior. Huh? It has a bridge design here. Great. It resembles the GLC in many ways. You see, you have the triple screen here. Oh, sorry. And actually in here, if I show you them, you also have the games. What? Really? Let's test that later. Okay, so now we're gonna drive. You see, also this is nice and smooth, right? We're gonna drive to Rudshøgda. Let me see here. Show you how snappy it is. Okay, don't want to go to any fast charger. We don't want to No. There. Okay, good. New route. There. You see, it shows how many percent you will drive it. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's check the weight. This is outside the driving cycles. Front axle 1120. The whole car. Whoa, 2,420 kilograms. It has gained 120 kilograms when compared to the EQB. So yeah, what was that? Bigger battery, heavier 800 volt architecture, less copper, right? All right, on the move, and we have to cruise at 122 on the speedo to match 120 GPS speed. And then here we see some motor data. When we are just cruising now, even in the high speed, we are only using the rear motor. So just like the EQA and the GLC, You have the 2-speed gearbox and the decoupling on the front motor, so all the German tech is here. And then how is the ride here in comparison to the more expensive GLC? Well, first I noticed is that there is more noise here. So yeah, a couple of decibel more noise. And then the ride quality is not on the same level, even though the GLC I borrowed didn't have air suspension. Oh yeah, and also the blinker sound here. It's somewhat high frequency. You know, in the old days, like when I was younger, there would be an actual relay making that ticking sound, you know. But then people gotten used to it, and nowadays it's just an artificial sound. But then it's just, I don't know, maybe, I think it's less pleasant than the other, and than the GLC. So it's a bit strange that they don't use the same ticking sound, but maybe no big deal. Maybe you're used to the high frequency ticking sound because that resembles the actual relay when you were young also, like me. Then this is the car for you. Well, we're now at the turnaround point, Rudshøgda. Let's try to make this a standard test, which is to go around the roundabout at around 40-45 kilometers per hour. Yeah, see what happens. Oh shit, okay there. Oh, even at 35 kilometers per hour it skids. Well, I mean, it's kind of heavy, 2.4 ton beast. But also, this is some Michelin, well, it's called Michelin 5 energy. Oh, really? It skids at even lower speeds than the GLC's Nexen Enfera Sport tires. So maybe those Nexen tires weren't that bad after all then, huh? I guess these tires here, they are optimized for efficiency, not grip. Consumption was 211 watt-hour per kilometer. Okay, 19, well, it's 17 to 19 degrees Celsius outside, not that much wind. This is actually very good. Seems like the new drivetrain from Mercedes is very efficient. This time we have to cruise at, well, I'm not sure, 91 jumps a bit up and down. Okay, 92 then. Seems to be 90.5 kilometers per hour. Okay, whatever. That's good enough, alright, 92. Alright, 18.5 degrees Celsius outside. Still nice and warm. Yes. Oh yeah, this is very useful. When you start driving, you can turn off these two attention assistant. I still don't understand with Mercedes why it is like this, that we have system, acoustic warning, attention assist, lane keep function. Why is attention assist always in uppercase in all these MBUX? I don't know. And this GLB has the Burmester sound system. How good is it? Let's try it. Sounds decent, but even as Burmester, I feel like it's not as detailed and nice and warm like the more expensive GLC or like EQS. Okay, next song. As usual, I use a USB stick with uncompressed WAV file, the best CD quality you can get. Well, it sounds okay. I have to say, it sounds good, yeah. The bass sounds linear. Maybe not the deepest bass. Okay. What about this guy's voice? Wow. You say it's good, man? Yeah. Okay, rattling in the doors. Let me skip here a bit. There are some rattling in the doors when you crank up the volume. Mid-bass is doing hard work, right? Okay, last song. I kind of need to press on the screen to skip. Nice bass. It feels pleasant to listen to overall. And if you crank it up, it becomes loud. The whole car is shaking, so yeah, that's good. Cheaper systems tend to cap or clip or, you know, here, good, yes. But no, I still don't get the like whoa feeling like I get in some of the other Brewmaster or the other high-end systems. So yeah, I mean, it's still good. Maybe I'll give it 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. And this was kind of unusual. There are no flappy pedals here, unlike in the GLC. So I was searching for the longest time how to change the regen. There was no setting inside the screen. Well, guess what? I had to Google it. You push the stock away from you to decrease regen, and you pull it towards you to increase regen, or you're going to go into auto, but wait, where's the auto? Automatic. There, auto, but I don't want that. So yeah, I prefer, of course, to have it in the D minus, which has the strongest regen. And then, yeah, you can always coast and do that ninja stuff. But of course, when we are just doing this test now, then the best is actually just to use the cruise control. Same for 1,000 kilometer challenge. People are wondering, why are you using B mode? Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make it any better if you use D mode. Okay, let's try the coasting then. I don't think I need to go into neutral, because as long as I'm in D+, then there is no regen going on. Okay, wait, there. I can see also here in the motor data that it reports nothing, and no torque going on, no power. Yeah, right. Picking up speed. Seems like I was lucky with the traffic, so there's no. Okay, there's a car approaching from behind, and it's kind of far away. So hopefully I'll pick up enough speed to keep the distance. We have a slight disadvantage, a little bit of headwind. Okay, 17 degrees Celsius, fairly efficient tires, right? Well, I get the impression that, okay, well, first I have to say that the drag coefficient here might not be the best, only 0.28. I mean, it's a boxy 7-seater after all, kind of short and, you know, like, not like a 5-meter long car. So okay, that's not ideal for high speed, but okay, I get the impression that the newer drivetrains, the one that is in the CLA and also the GLC and also this the GLB, is efficient. Maybe a combination of I don't know, but the gearbox or lower friction in wheel bearings and the reduction gear, or like stuff that Tesla has mastered a decade ago, you know. Seems like this is better than the old, like the what's it called again? The EQC, for example, was incredibly thirsty, almost as thirsty as a fat e-tron. So in the old days, the Germans, they were not that efficient, maybe except for the E-Up and E-Golf. Look at that. Oh yeah, so here, yeah, we can still coast. Okay, we have the slight weight advantage, but pretty much there. I need to resume. So, okay, that was better than many cars, but not the best. Some of the best, they were able to reach this point almost to the exit there. So, well, this is still very good. Maybe the best 7-seater out there. Well, okay, or 7-seater for people without legs in the rear. Well, the result from the 90 test, 149 watt-hour per kilometer. Holy macaroni, this is really good. Again, for a boxy 7-seater, this kind of low consumption is almost unheard of. It's almost Tesla efficiency and consumption here. Okay, now we're at Ioniq, 350 kilowatt chargers. The old EQB could charge at only 100 kilowatts. Now it's 351, or 53, whatever. 3.5 times faster, right? Yes, but we didn't go that deep. Since we don't have to measure the battery capacity, it's the same as the CLA. I arrived with 35%. Okay, let me see. Did preheat slightly before it got here. Wait, oh, okay. Booting up. Okay, you're getting 234 kilowatt, even at 35%. Very good. Wow, look at this. Even at 63%, we're taking 148 kilowatts. It's game over now. Well, or speaking of game, yes, here we have the Jova gaming pad. So let me see. Wait, I forgot to turn it off. Probably doesn't matter, right? Well, you can wirelessly charge it here. Let me check here. Does it charge? Or you can even charge it on USB-C. Well, okay, we're gonna test now. It should work here also. It seems to be the same as the GLC. So you go to further apps, game controllers, Bluetooth controller, add device, and then we have to press this. Okay, it lights up. Now we go to games, beach buggy. Wait, I need to adjust the steering wheel here slightly. There. Oh yeah. Oh great, just like in the GLC, in the GLB you can also play games here. Awesome. Oh yeah. So compared to the old EQB, this newer, well, or the GLB now, has way better range. Okay, the old run was done at 6 degrees Celsius. Today we had nicer weather, but it could seem like the efficiency has been improved, but okay, also we have bigger battery and faster charging, but that's not the part of the range test technically. So that means that we get really good range. So I wonder how good this will even be in 1,000 kilometer challenge. Could maybe be the fastest 7-seater. Well, you're gonna find out. When it comes to overall impression of the car, nice seats, nice comfort, but well, here's the thing you might want to know is that well, okay, it's a 7-seater, you know, it's a boxy car, probably very popular as a taxi. So you just get like less ride comfort as the GLC. You get more noise here than the GLC. You get less nice features like the flappy pedals, and you don't get the massage like the GLC, right? So, I mean, overall, this GLB, it's kind of stripped down a bit, yes. It doesn't have the digital lights, so there's no this car. It has just the multi-beam, the regular regular adaptive lights. But then I need to mention the price, which is in Norway, the GLC I tested was 860k, but this GLB, I would expect it to be maybe just 500, 600k. No, it is 750k. So for me, though, in my head, as long as I don't need 7 seats, then I'll just pay the extra and just to get the much nicer GLC then. But okay, whatever. Maybe you didn't pull out in time and you have too many kids and you need a 7-seater, or you want to drive a taxi, then you know this is a sensible option. Yeah, all right. Anyway, I think that's going to be for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching, and talk to you later.